We find this to be a little bit just very odd in the whole world of reasoning and common sense. Now we're nobodies, worthless piece of shit, just lucky, to be able to be allowed, right, to pay for our existence in the United States, or what we would like to actually, the United Kingdom of States. That's what we actually call it. However, the question is, the Queen Elizabeth, she is 96 years old, and God bless her, right? At like 96, wow, wow. I mean, she's done a hell of a job for herself, right? In 70 years, she has been reigning. Well, for 70 years, right? And this has nothing to do with any of them, right? There's nothing personal. Just the thought is from us. The thought is, why are you still? Why are you still the head of your family? This sounds like something my mother would try pulling, right? And the only reason, like, for my mother would be nothing but greedy, selfish, right? Just to be an asshole for my mother, right? But she would pull. This sounds like something that she would pull, right? Refusing to allow me. And so, and I just wonder, like, how in the hell, right? So this is her son, and this is her grandson. Look at this guy. He's towering over everybody. However, he's a nobody. You get it? And she is almost like, look, this little child is right up to her eye, right? And he's, I don't know how old he is, right? And she's so frail, right? Probably the sweetest woman on earth. Who knows? But why would you? Why? I personally couldn't do it, and I wouldn't do it. Why would you not hold? Why would you not stand down and hand the throne? If you wanted the crown, I don't even know what they would, but hand it over to at least your son, right? And if not, who? And then who is in line of succession? I guess he is. But wait. So why are they using this woman? At this point, we would assume that she is actually kind of being used. Now let us figure that, right. And what we're talking about is the fact that that everywhere you look, right, the so-called powers that be are trying to feminize everything, right? And that would be a very smart, intelligent way to try to get total dominance, total domination, complete, because everybody's a little feminine coward, right? And that's, I mean, what other purpose would you have? I'm thinking, if we were back a couple few hundred years ago, she would have never had a chance. You know what I'm saying? Right? So because of modern technology, right? And because we do not want anybody, like Harry, for example. Harry's puts up a little bit of, from is my understanding, and I don't follow this too much because it's kind of bogus to a certain degree. But Harry puts up a lot of he ruffles some feathers, right? And that's what I would assume that a man, right? It would be so much harder, right, to keep a man in check than it is a woman. And it's just the only... And so the powers that be, they're such cowards, right? That they're literally... I guess, here's another aspect. Such cowards that they want to keep the women at the front and center, and the men... Right, kissing women's asses, basically, where that would have never been the case all through history, right? But because now they have such heavy, if men were going to go and fight in battle, and the only thing that anybody had was swords, it was a semi-fair fight. Now, though, if you got a goddamn nuclear bombs and you have, heavy artillery, it's not even a fair fight in many cases. That's why they went into, like, Iraq. And in places like Iraq, right, in all these places, like the Middle East, everybody's always referring to them as oppressive. I don't think that, if you're a man, I'm pretty certain that you're not living that much of an oppressed life. You're not living as oppressive of life as what American men, maybe even Canadian, I don't speak for other countries because I don't know, but in general, all of the Commonwealth countries, all of the countries that are ruled by the British Crown, or have been ruled, and they still are. The United States is, for the better part, and for the most part, nothing more than the people of that time did not, of 1700s, they didn't win shit. They didn't get nothing. It was the royal families coming from England, had established, and they're all connected, right? That's why your Bidens, your Bushes, your Obama, right? All of them, they work for the crown at the end of the day. And and we realize we come from that family also. We stem from that family, and we work for the crown as well, right? So because that's the reality. You can go and try to play all this bullshit, but the reality is that they still own everything and control everything. So, anyways, and then here's one other. They're celebrating 70 years of service, and I'm like, service, right? And so I have to literally pick up. I literally have to go and, like, what is service? What are you guys talking about? Service, right? And so I don't know what dictionary they're using their terminology. They get their terminology from. But definitions of their words, where is that exactly? I don't know, but service is the occupation of function, or function of serving. I don't know exactly who she was serving, right? And so, serving, employment as a servant. So let's look at servant, right? One that performs duties about the person, and person is a corporation or home of a master or personal employer. And so your personal employer, your employer is your master. So that's another aspect that I find baffling, these fucking retards everywhere I look. A woman, right? So I've seen it all my life, but not all my life. I gotta. There was a point in time where it was not like this, and it was really stuck into high gear in about the late '80s, right? Where this women's lib shit really pushed into effect, and and it amazes me that before this happened, I can remember sitting at I can remember my dad being the head of the household, sitting at a table, right, where my dad always sat at one seat. My mother always in one, and my mother cooked the food and all that kind of shit. And then all these divorces started showing up all over the place, and women were getting huge sums of money, right? And this would be about the mid '80s, and then my mom, and then all of a sudden I started seeing it permeate through my whole family. All kinds of people were getting divorces now because they're sick and tired of this, or they had some concept in which they're not being treated correctly, and they deserve better from some sort of fucking TV shows, Oprah Winfrey's and shit like that, telling all these fucking women how much they deserve so much better. And it baffles me because most of all these women, they don't mind going out and making, they say $20 an hour. This is money that is fucking worthless money with no value, and at any point in time they can steal it from you and take it from you, whatever they want, right? And they have no problem going to work, being told what to fucking do. You need to be here at this time. You need to fucking wear these clothes. You need to have your hair like this. You need to have tennis shoes or sneakers. Every aspect, they're being fucking told what to do. Right? And a lot of them, I don't know, say you got to go to McDonald's. You're going to work at some shithole like McDonald's. Right? You have to have the exact this attire. You need to punch in at this period. You have exactly this amount of time to do. You are being fucking told what to do in every goddamn aspect of your whole fucking life for fucking nickels and dimes. And then all of a sudden they go home and they're not, they too good. And this is even when there's children involved. They're too fucking good, and they're not going to take no fucking orders from a man. Right? And on top of that, about 90% of all you fucking whores that were getting paid, every one of you fucking whores, it was a man that pretty much owns most of everything that you're all fucking working. It was a man that owned it. Right? You're fucking pathetic. You're fucking disgusting. And so I don't know exactly. She was a servant. And then that makes me wonder. I wonder if she is not actually right. Is not actually. She's being kind of held hostage. Meaning she has a service that she has to perform for higher fucking people that are even higher, and she's just a figurehead, right? She's an ornament, right? And even they know, right? And they're like, yeah, this the powers that be that are fucking in charge of all of them. Basically, what I'm getting at is the royal family is not even they're not fucking royal. They're not even in charge of shit. There's a group that's fucking superior to them, and they're all just taking orders from them, is what I'm wondering, right? Obviously, I would never know and shit, but it makes me wonder. Either way, who knows?